So the possibilities that virtual reality and augmented reality presents us today is to do more than what we actually have in our real world. What technology does is it does not necessitate that you be together in the same space at the same time. So the isolation may be created in the physical nature, but when it comes to actual connection, we will still be connected through technologies. Understanding the values, understanding human psychology, understanding how we live together, making better connections is what will be an upper hand when it comes to AI and automation.
So, hi, I'm Paushali, and I am a third year student in ISDI, and I'm a communication design student. And today we have with us a very prominent name in the industry, Mr. Kumar Ahir, from the company, the design lead from the company Cisco. And sir, it's amazing. It's an honor, it's a privilege to have you here with us and to be able to talk with you. And there are so many questions. Like, we have made a list of so many questions. We've been told not to ask so many questions because of time constraints. So we will not delay anymore. We will dive into it very soon. Welcome to Atlas. A very heartwarming welcome to Atlas. My first question to you will be, what inspired you to explore this intersection between design, technology, and business?
Cool. First of all, thanks for inviting me to the college and also to the podcast. I'm really thrilled to share my experience. Um, to answer your question, I have always been driven by my innate value, which is exploring, thinking big, dreaming big. As a kid, I always used to create stuff using my hands, used to make paper based models, and that has driven me to go into engineering first. I was offered a seat in MBBS to become a doctor, but I chose to become engineer because engineers are someone who creates things.
Yeah.
I studied engineering. I really liked coding and all, but then I stumbled upon something called design, wherein I was thinking about the end users who are going to use the products. I was unconsciously doing something for them, thinking about them, creating something, thinking about the end users. And that's where I figured out that design is a place where I should go to. I studied at IIT Bombay interaction design, and after interaction design, started thinking, my banging my head around, like, I know what my user needs, I am able to create that. Now how do I make money? So that's where I stumbled into the world of business. Did a decade long stint as an entrepreneur, did business, made good amount of money, also burnt a lot of them, and now into the now I'm into the space of giving back to the community by coming to universities like you, teaching students, mentoring startups, students like you, and becoming an inspiration.
Oh, wow.
So, hi, I'm Shreya Tandon. I'm also a communication designer in my third year. So, the second question to you would be, from leading product design at Cisco to co founding OOBI, what key experiences have shaped your perspective on immersive technologies and UX design?
Interesting question. So when I was working at Cisco earlier, before this stint of Cisco, it was more about designing particular interfaces that were bound by flat screen interfaces. Um, I wanted to fall into a space which was more tangible in nature, wherein users were not just looking at the screens, but also interacting with them with their own hands, using all the different sensories that humans have. And that's what pushed me into going and co-founding Ubi. Ubi is a short form for out of box interactions, which means that the box, which is the flat screen of computer, and this was back in 2010, 11, wherein most of the interactions were happening through that flat screen only. I wanted to go beyond and let user experience that digital content more using their hands. So it was not keyboard or mouse. It was more about hand-based interaction. So I can wave my hand, change stuff, I can make some emotions, and then the screen will react to me. And that excited me a lot. And that's what brought me to co-founding Ubi at that time. We created a lot of first of its kind interactive models like large multi-touch tables, and these were really new at that time. Augmented reality was still making some noise around the world, and we were the first, maybe in India, to create experiences which allowed user to interact with content using their whole body movement. Yeah, and the main thing that pushed me into doing that was again same thing, value of exploring and dreaming big, doing something new for the end users.
Actually, we saw a picture of what screen you were talking about somewhere on your website. So yeah, I think
Yeah.
we'll roll on to the yeah.
First, I really like that you have dream.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Yeah.
this is my newfound fascination of collecting caps, collecting different caps with statements that really resonate with me. And what I also seen is it resonates with people like you also. Helps me connect with people without saying anything. Right? So,
That is a very nice thing. Hi, I am Anisha Ladda. I am an information designer, again, third year. And so now that we're talking about it, I did a little bit research, stalking, and I found your Twitter.
Mhm.
And I noticed that you've been a very good advocate for AR and VR design
Yes.
in general. And there's one tweet that really stood out to me, which was the Meta Quest 3 glasses that you've been using as a monitor extender,
Yeah.
where you have one real screen and three virtual screens.
Correct.
So could you tell me a little bit more about how you did that?
Yeah. So the the possibilities that virtual reality and augmented reality presents us today is to do more than what we actually have in our real world. Because it's a virtual technology which allows to present digital content virtually anywhere in the space. It allows us to extend the physical space or physical objects much more than what they are. So let's say um, the tweet that I made over there was more about extending my desktop and wearing this virtual reality headset called Quest 3, which extends my desktop, and I'm able to project screens, multiple screens in front of me, which enhances my productivity and makes me feel like Iron Man, of course. Um, but much more than that, it is about that the technology is getting comfortable and ergonomic to use. Back in 2010, 11, or maybe 14, it was really cumbersome. It was heavyweight in front of your eyes.
Yeah.
Now it has reduced to a physical object wherein I can put it on my head for maybe longer hours. I've used that for around 3 hours straight without taking it off, and I'm still working in that space.
Doesn't weigh you down?
It doesn't weigh me down. It
That's
has got a
nice.
good ergonomics and balancing weight mechanism, which makes it possible.
Interesting.
And I'm sorry, I am able to kind of extend my real keyboard onto using the virtual screens inside. So there is a good connection between what's in the real to what's in the virtual.
That's so cool. Yeah. Have you tried the Apple Vision Pro 3?
I haven't tried that. I would definitely would want to.
So everyone talks about how AR and VR technology is advancing, like what Anisha just talked about. So do you in 2020 I've seen like you've done something related to AR and VR. So how could you just will human technology not get isolated if we use AR and VR? What would you want to say on
Okay.
that?
So my take on that is connecting with other human beings is very innate to human nature. We are social being, and that's embedded in our DNA. We can never live without another human being all in isolation. Um, so that's one thing, and that's a principal thing. What technology does is it does not necessitate that you be together in the same space at the same time, right? So you can be living somewhere else, I can be living somewhere else, maybe in one room. So the isolation may be created in the physical nature, But when it comes to actual connection, we will still be connected through technologies.
Right.
So that's what my thought process is, and that's where we will be heading towards. So earlier in prehistoric days, people still were isolated because they would go hunting and all, and then they'll come back to the same home. When the print media came, the same thing happened, that I was able to know what's happening in other part of the world, and I was able to connect. Now the richness of that medium has increased, which was earlier just text based, then image, then movie, and now I'm able to see things in 3D that ways. So there is a connection which is always there, but it is the physical nature of the connection that is changing.
Right. The nature gets just transmitted from one
Yeah.
to another.
Yeah.
So, continuation to that, or like something related to it, and this is something I personally am very keen to know about. With AI and automation so much coming to the industry has become so prominent, how do we develop a more human-centric and traditional approach, a digital experience?
So for that, we have to understand ourselves better.
Yeah.
We have to be more self-aware,
Hmm.
like what our likes and dislikes are. We have to understand what the human values are, which AI has not got it right now. It has got it, but more in a logical way. It may call it that create an empathy or empathize with person, but it does not know what an empathy means. That is, we only know, and we as human can express that, right? So understanding the values, understanding human psychology, understanding how we live together, making better connections is what will be an upper hand when it comes to AI and automation. And we have always been trumping technology from that point of view, and we'll continue to do that.
Do you think down the years AI will also be able to do that?
Yes, AI will definitely do that, because just like anything, emotion can be codified in a limited way, but it will depend on us whether we want to limit ourselves to that thing only, right? We have a broad spectrum of learning. So if I have to compare myself with your generation, let's say, okay, and there is not much of difference, by the way, but the way I was exposed to learning medium material at when I studied, and the kind of learning mediums and material that you are exposed to, there is a huge difference. Uh, but still, the learning is there, right? It is just increasing the spectrum of, or increasing the capability of our brain, right? It has immense potential. If you write one chat GPT prompt, it will probably use a room full of like this computers to take that decision.
Yeah.
But for us, it happens all in this brain, which is sitting in this skull, and it is like 2.5 kgs only, right? So the potential is huge.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
To not
understanding
limit
ourselves
yourself.
is much more important.
Right, got it. When you just mentioned that the size of the room that is being taken up by the AI softwares and everything, how do you feel about the environmental waste that is being produced because of it?
Yeah. So whenever any technology starts, it starts with in its worst condition. I'm sure you would have seen, at least not if not used, but the way mobile technology started, the phone was size of a brick, and everybody still used to carry that, right? Same is with AI also. The power consumption that was there, maybe the battery was living only for a few hours and then it used to be charged, or rather it was not chargeable thing, it was always plugged in, right? So it has advanced. So there are downsides of AI hardware technology that is consuming the power. It's matter of time that that will also get reduced, and now we are exploring a lot of renewable source of energy like solar, and sending solar panels in the space and getting energy from there. I'm optimistic about that. I wouldn't say that is something that will not happen. climate change is happening. We have to be conscious about sustainability, and that's where in the workshop I was also talking to the students, wherein when you are designing any interface or any product experience, how do you design impacts a lot on the sustainability aspect. Because let's say if you're designing a prompt based interface wherein you have to give a lot of prompts, which means for every prompt there is a lot of energy consumption that's happening. Can you design interface in such a way that within few prompts it is able to give you answers, which means that there is considerate amount of energy savings, right? So as a designer we can design experiences which can take care
So
of
less
those things.
steps
Yeah.
in general. That makes sense. I also have another question. This is a little bit specific. So you just mentioned ChatGPT. What is your favorite LMM model?
Okay, so far I've used ChatGPT and Gemini. Most recently, I'm intrigued and curious to use DeepSeek. I've just gotten started with it. I'm not very satisfied, mostly because it is not giving image generation capability right now. But
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. That's going to break the world. I'm sure.
Claude is also nice. We
Yes.
had an AI workshop and we were taught about a lot of different softwares in it, and we
Yeah.
were exploring.
Yeah.
And we had compared ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and DeepSeek. And I mean, out of all those four, Claude turned out to give the most concise answers. And the thing that you mentioned, the steps being taken, all we put in was a problem statement and it gave us the entire brief. And we were mind blown because even ChatGPT has not done that yet. It coded it in front of us.
All right.
And it gave us the preview of the wireframe as well.
All right. Then I get to start using that.
You probably should. It's really cool. So right now there's a shift in the traditional thinking for businesses and in the industry, including AI. So how can a business or as a designer, how do we keep up or like stand out in this crowd where the general statement is generating from AI?
Okay, so if you compare this with, let's say, Photoshop or using Illustrator without AI, what mattered between designers when it came to the output quality was the knowledge of the tool. It offers a lot of tools like smudging and brushes and all that thing. Unless you know those tools, you won't be able to create a variety of solutions. Okay, that's number one. Second one is when to use those tools, that thinking. And third one is your dexterity or your expertise in using those tools, how quickly you can use that. In all that thing, it is not about the tool, it is about you.
But yeah.
Right? So same thing for AI also. It is not about the AI as a tool or chat GPT as a tool. It is about you on how you perceive that thing. So the first thing that you should do is keep experimenting with tools a lot. These tools are advancing and improving day by day. So you can't sit with one single tool all the time. You have to try out all the different tools and one which you feel comfortable with. Maybe develop your expertise in that. Try to understand how it operates. Try to understand what kind of prompt when you give it, it gives output with efficiency. So understand that. And the last one is to understand when to use it, in what context to use it. You can't keep using it for everything that you do. When it comes to thinking, you have to sit with paper and pen at any time. When you are so paper and pen again are technological tools only. It's not human or nature created, right? That's also a technology, but that technology is something that we are able to connect with a lot better because it uses human senses and the dexterity that is there in our fingers, the tactile senses, right? Which is kind of missing right now in AI. So let's use that as much as possible so that it leverages human potential. And then whatever outcome is there, we get refinement or elaboration or clarity using these tools, which it is really good at.
Do you think that this, because of this only, there is a more generalized approach to design in a larger community, if we see?
The generalized approach will only come when you keep using the templatized format of asking questions. If you go beyond that,
Hmm.
it won't be general. It will be unique, right? Same thing for design tools like Canva or Photoshop or any other tools like Figma, right? There are templates available. If you keep using template, it will be general. It will be common across.
Right.
But you can bring uniqueness from different points of view. One, of course, understanding your unique strength and bringing that over there. Second one is understanding your problem domain much better and then bringing that unique thing to the tool, and that's how it will generate a better or unique solution that you need and not generalized.
I think there's a chat GPT page
Mhm.
that tells you how to prompt chat
Yeah.
GPT, and
Yeah.
then you can use the same prompt
Yes.
and have the better use of AI done.
Yeah. So the designer of ChatGPT would have done that, or no, as a UX designer, we empathize with our end users, saying that okay, if we give end users a blank text box, they
Right.
don't know how to get started. So let me give some templates for them to get started. Now the downside of that is with templates, everybody thinks, okay, these are the templates to be used, so let's keep using that. So what happens is every time the prompt is templatized, the output is also templatized. So we have to break that cycle. Once we get used to how to use that, then we start thinking on our own, okay, can I tweak this? Can I make this better on my own? And that's how we get better outputs and results. Yeah.
Right. So you've worked with corporate startups a lot. So what lessons can large companies learn from startups who are fostering innovation?
Okay. Um, Innovation happens in large corporates also. It is just that the speed is slow. Uh, and the main reason of the speed and pace being slow is uh, the scale of it and the complexity. So as the companies grow, uh, different functions come into picture, and all these functions are working in their specific areas. They create mastery and specialization in those areas, because large companies need to kind of stay afloat. They have reached a plateau wherein they have to kind of sustain themselves to maintain that position. So for that, they will create specific functions. Now, when these specific functions come together, there will be challenges related to collaboration, challenges related to working together, vision. Every function will have their own vision, or they will be looking at their own advantages from that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So that's what brings the speed of innovation down.
Hmm.
It happens over there also. But what happens in startup? They are already on fire. They are already on that sustenance mode.
Right.
Unless they work and unless they speed up that work, they won't be able to sustain more than, let's say, 6 months or 7 months, even if they have got $1 billion no funding.
Right.
So there is no difference in terms of innovation, but there is difference in terms of how the innovation is pursued, how it is executed, and how different functions come together to innovate.
Right.
Yeah.
Me and my friend are conducting a UX case study on startups, so that
Okay.
insight could be useful.
Yeah.
So this was actually quite insightful from what she just said. And like other conversations have also been interesting. And thank you for being very candid and transparent in terms of communication. It was fun. It was a very good interactive
Yeah,
session.
I didn't know it will be this fun. I was also scared from inside, by the way. But thank you for making it no conversational and natural. Yeah.
This was a reassurance that I personally, I feel like AI is threatening. I don't know, I might be a little biased. But then, like you said, that it's just a compliment to
Yeah.
design and
Yeah,
brains. It's
yeah.
not everything.
So in my workshop, the first slide that I kept
Yeah.
was be brave and embrace AI. So yeah, that's how I got started. And as a designer, we have to be brave, because uh, we always fight and we always foray into an ambiguous space that nobody dares to go in. And the armory or the weapons that we have are visualization techniques, that we are able to visualize things that others fall short of.
Yeah.
So we should be more proud of AI, because it has increased our armory, right?
Yeah.
It has made it better. So let's use that for our to increase our potential.
I think that's a very good note to end on.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thank you.
The possibilities that virtual reality and augmented reality presents us today is to do more than what we actually have in our real world.